Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and I'm honored to be having with me in the studio for tonight Dr. Hoda Raghib, the Professor of Political Science. Thank you very much once again for being with us tonight. We were speaking before the report about the two-state solution, and we have spoken about the efforts of Egypt, about the recognition of a number of world countries of the state of Palestine. But what about the response of Israel and the United States?
It's a good question, because of course Israel doesn't want at all the very idea of this resolution of two-state resolution, and that it wants to take Gaza, all Gaza, and to add it to its own lands. But it's now, it's from the very beginning when this started, when the two-state solution started as a solution, as I said here. Israel was trying to get out of it and trying to really not respond to it at all. And it was supported by Trump that, why don't you take all this place, it's a beautiful place, and we can make it as a resort. Of course, this is added to his ambitions that, of course, two-state solution is absolutely not going to work. Now it is being raised up again. And you see, you have just said by by the international community and many countries, and not really all of them, but many countries, yes. Over 140 states. I think we have to push for that. The Arabs, not only for reconstructing Gaza, but for the two-state solution. This is very important, and that Israel should accept one way or the other, because it's becoming a fact. It's there, it's going to be there. And that's why President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi insisted that they should not be expelled out or get out of their country. They lose the whole case for themselves. I mean, this is their land, they have to stay, and even when there is a reconstruction, well, it can be done while the Palestinians, the Gaza people, are still there.
So Israel should be accepting. But do you think that Israel could be accepting the proposals on the table for a ceasefire, even proposed by the United States, by Egypt, by Qatar, the initiative by Saudi Arabia? Will there be an end in sight?
No, that was some time ago. Now, no, the case have changed. This is what I mean, exchange for hostages, or now it's over. As if, they put just a limit of time, and that was some time ago, and they are not going to accept it again. But they should accept it one way or another, by pressure, and could be the way, of course, how to deal with the Israelis, by pressure. And you have to press, and these pressures could be in many ways, by the way, in a diplomatic way, in giving them, something instead, of course. I mean, the Israeli peace, but I don't know if they want to accept peace in exchange of giving Palestine or Gaza its independent or self-determination.
Yes, one type of pressure, something that we have seen yesterday, for example, the recognition of the Palestinian state by Britain, by Canada, by Australia, by Portugal. But why at this time, this critical time, this specific time, this recognition is happening by several countries all at once?
Well, I think that is one way of pressuring. And this is what I liked. I told you about what I really liked is Britain. And it's responsible from the very beginning what happened to Gaza, by the way, and the Palestinians getting out of their lands because of this Treaty of Sykes-Picot. So I think it's time. We are starting, not yet, this is not the finale, but starting to do something about pressuring, how to pressure Israel.
Can this recognition be having an achievement in the field of the two-state solution?
Of course, this is one step. Well, this is what I'm trying to say. It's one step toward the achieving this resolution.
So what are the measures that will be implemented to be stopping the aggression of Israel against Palestine, against the Gaza Strip, against the innocent civilians, and of course reaching to the part of the reconstruction and the recovery of Gaza?
No, many steps are to be done, by the way. It's not between a day and a night. It cannot be, but at least you have to start. Starting an action, not just, as I said, talking or rhetorics. Rhetorics will not do anything, but achieving something like, I mean, I really like that about Britain, by the way. France, I know that France is all the time backing Gaza and in support of President Sisi. And Spain as well, I know about that. But Britain, I know also about Canada and,
Yes.
And Australia. But Britain, this is what I really appreciated very much.
What is the main message that will be delivered by Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli on behalf of Egypt upon participating in the 80th United Nations General Assembly and the Conference on the Two-State Solution?
Well, he kept saying the very same. I mean, the same. Affirmed that Palestine, as a country, should have its own independence. Should be an independent. But again, I would really look forward for a threat. That, well, an action. This is what I look forward for, an action. But I told you that even to take an action, it must be very well studied.
What about the international law? Because we started the program and we started the episode for tonight with your answer, Doctor, about that something will be happening. Something is happening, at least.
Yeah.
Yes. What about the international community nowadays? The international law that could be enacted and the United Nations resolutions?
Very good point. This is an excellent point. And this is maybe what I'm about to say, that
yes.
should be really now a point to change it and to give it more enforce, to enforce it one way or another. Well, I mean, I liked also the point about Arab NATO. This is a very good point, because we never had an Arab NATO. Well, we had something called in the law, in the constitution of the Arab League when it started. They have this common defense, and I think it needed to be activated again, the common defense among the Arabs. And also, I mean, the Islamic, as well as the Islamic Arab
Yes,
countries.
that was discussed in the past week.
Exactly.
You think
But
that
this
we are
was
one
already
step
in the
closer to be enacting
constitution.
them?
It was already written in the constitution of the Arab League. Now it needs to be reactivated. It wasn't activated at all, except during '73, and we had Syria and other countries.
Saudi Arabia.
Yes, Saudi Arabia,
Yes.
exactly, sorry. We are Syria, Saudi
serious.
Arabia. But it needed to be activated, really, because it's very important, the common defense.
Would it seem, or we do see nowadays, this treaty being applied for the NATO, but on the other hand for Russia against Ukraine, and some Russian attacks against Estonia, or the drones flying over Poland. So we can see the same scenario, but between Russia and Ukraine. What is stopping us? What is stopping the Arab and the Islamic countries from enacting such
I think
defense
the
cooperation?
summit was to start by stopping rhetoric and start doing it. As I said, nothing can be done between a day and a night.
Yes.
It needs to take some time, but not a long time.
How long is it? How long is a long time?
No.
We've been there in 2 years, for 2 years now.
2 years is a long time.
Yes.
Very long time. And I think now they should really think about it, because, as I said, the Arab world now, and something called the Middle East, because the Middle East, by the way, you have to understand,
Yes.
The Middle East as a map is 22 Arab countries, including Palestine, and 3 non-Arab, including Israel.
Yes.
This is the Sharq al-Awsat, or in the Middle East.
Of course, speaking about the international community and the West in general, we have seen the recognition of several countries of the Palestinian statehood. But what about the decisions by big, major powers, for example, like China and Russia? Who do you think they will be taking their side in this conflict?
I think in the previous episode, I said that China cares about its own interests. And that's why it's not really want to rush into any clashes with the United States particularly. As for Russia, it's already busy with what it's in right now. It's war with Ukraine, and possibility with other things going to bump up, I don't know, from the neighbor countries. So I think in Russia now, well, I don't know if it's ready or not ready to be pushed in. So this is the two big countries. As for India, it's out of this calculation, by the way. Pakistan, this is what also interests me about Pakistan.
Can it be more involved after the treaty with Saudi Arabia?
And with the treaty with Saudi Arabia, which is also, I want to look at it with another idea. But I think Pakistan should be revised. Again, I mean, I should look at it with another eye, Pakistan, as an Islamic country.
Yes. We usually speak about the pressure from the outside world, from the other countries, towards Israel to be stopping the genocide war against the Palestinians. But what about the pressure from within Israel against the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu? The protests that we have seen for the past years to be freeing the hostages, to be ending the aggression, to be ending the genocide war against the Palestinians. Over the past weeks, more specifically, we have seen an uproar even from the Israelis within Israel against what is happening, at least on the humanitarian level, against the Palestinian children and against the Palestinian civilians. For the past 2 years, more than 67,000 martyrs and 120,000 injured people.
Injured people. Martyrs and injured.
Yes.
But I want to tell you something, that even with the Israeli, the Jewish people, they don't mind. I mean, what they mind is about their own, as I say, martyrs, their own people.
Yes.
And hostages. This is what it's not about others. They don't care about others, and that's why the uproaring, as you have just said, against Netanyahu, it's for this, not for any other, not to stop Netanyahu from exceeding and going on with his brutal actions. So this is what, and Netanyahu knows that. I mean, he himself is Jewish. He knows that, and that's why he is. The more he gets into, I want to take places from Gaza, land. This is what counts. That's the most important. But don't think that there are anything pressuring Netanyahu from inside.
So from the inside, it would not be stopping him.
No, because they are looking for their own people, not well, for humanitarian reasons, as you have just said. No, no, for their own people, martyrs, those who are dead, and other hostages.
And of course, we know that he is facing a number of legal challenges, a lot of problems against his rule, against his policies, not just for the past 2 years, but even before that,
But he doesn't
in previous
care.
terms.
You know why? As long as he's going to bring more or add additional land, and for the settlements, for their settlements.
And the West Bank, for example.
Exactly.
Yes.
No, the settlements, the Israeli settlements.
Yes.
Add more land. That's what counts.
So what about the double standards? Because we have seen sanctions against Russia, against the Russian President Vladimir Putin, against the Russian-owned companies, against the Russian assets everywhere in the world. Why is this not happening for the Israelis?
Because he's backed by Israel, backed by, Trump. Very much backed by Trump. To the extent that he said that, I mean, he threatens any country if it's going to do anything to Netanyahu. I mean, according to the court justice, he will be punished to this extent.
And finally, how do you see the participation of Egypt in the 80th round of the United Nations General Assembly, not just for the Palestinian cause, for the discussions with Arab counterparts, with African and European counterparts on the level of the participation of Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and Foreign Minister Dr. Awad?
No, I think it's something very good, and that the international community appreciate, the UN appreciated very much the role of Egypt and what Egypt is doing.
Yes, Dr. Hoda Raghib Awad, the Professor of Political Science and the member of the Egyptian Council for Foreign Affairs and the National Council for Human Rights. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate. Anytime.
Thank you.
And this brings us to the end of the Daily Debate for tonight. Thank you for watching and goodbye.